We have some breaking news. Apparently, an AEW star has requested the release. We're going to talk about this in so much detail. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not want to miss this breaking news. Look, at this point, I don't really know what to believe. It seems like anytime somebody or something happens within AEW where it's slightly controversial, we are always questioning whether it is a real thing or simply a work. Well, now apparently it seems like this actually might not be a work, so let's talk about it. Jack Perry has reportedly requested his release from the company. According to the Wrestling Observer, Jack Perry claims that he asked for his AEW release and it was denied following the events of AEW All In London at Wembley Stadium. After the show, Perry claims that he did not hear back from Tony Khan for 2 months. He said that he never texted to say he was sorry and told Khan's lawyers that he would not initiate first contact. Khan eventually set up an in-person meeting before Full Gear where they discussed plans to bring Jack Perry back last December. However, CM Punk's return to the WWE as Survivor Series caused AEW to scrap plans for Perry's comeback. Basically, he wanted to work New Japan Wrestle Kingdom. That didn't happen due to logistical reasons. And then he worked with Rocky Romero and Tony Khan to set up his New Japan Pro Wrestling run. Now, what's really interesting is that AEW did not they did not respond to his release request by granting it. Which is interesting because one of the things that AEW said that they would do differently than WWE, and a lot of people are forgetting about this, but one of the things that Tony Khan and AEW said that they would do differently is not hold people captive. In this case, Jack Perry did not want to be in the company, and then the company decided they're not going to do this. Now, recently in an interview, Tony Khan did speak publicly about this. And basically he says that Jack Perry will be back in the company. Jack Perry obviously at some point didn't want to be in the company if that was the way, he obviously decided to go about things, which, if you're requesting your release, that means you want out, right? Also, one thing that needs to be said is Jack Perry apparently has not cleared anything that he's doing on New Japan Pro Wrestling with AEW. So that instance at Battle of the Valley when Jack Perry showed up in New Japan and he ripped his AEW contract and stuff like that, that's not been approved by AEW. And I think this is very interesting because I feel like it does align with the character of Jack Perry to be a heel, and to, rip up his contract and all of these things. Look, me personally, I've been pretty much on record with saying this. I personally am not a big fan of the Jack Perry character right now. So if this is all a part of it, I don't think it's actually good, in my opinion. I think the character aspect of it just really isn't fun. The idea of joining House of Horror and, just being a scapegoat and all of this stuff, to me, I just think it's silly, right? And if you want to look at it from the perspective of AEW not bringing back Jack Perry, I think it's also kind of dumb, right? I think if you are going to be different than the Vince McMahon regime of WWE, when somebody requests their release and they want out and you're keeping them there, why? Now, also, you have to keep in mind, Tony Khan did ultimately get screwed here, right? Tony Khan got screwed. How did he get screwed? Well, he fired CM Punk, and then you got Jack Perry now wanting to be there. Jack Perry's one of your four pillars, right? He's supposed to be a big deal. Clearly, it wasn't that big of a deal. In my personal opinion, I think for AEW in this particular situation, I think it's a lose-lose situation. So I think if it is a work, I think it's a really dumb decision, in my opinion. I think if it's not a work and it's very real life, then I think it's a real big shame that it even had to come down to this. I think Jack Perry, this is a kid that I looked at in the beginning stages of AEW, if we flash back a couple years ago. And maybe this gets me, maybe this isn't the popular opinion, and that's completely fine. But Jack Perry, right? Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. There was something really cool about that babyface tag team, that trio, right? There was something that happened there that was really dope. And I think one of the biggest concerns or the biggest issues in 2024 is that, Luchasaurus is kind of doing nothing with the Patriarch. Marco Stunt's obviously not in the company anymore, and Jack Perry is not even on good terms with the company. Now, keep in mind, this is one of those teams where it's like a very big babyface act. And long term, I really felt like it could have been something special. And like I said, I know it's not the popular opinion, but at the same time, too, when I see all this drama go down with Jack Perry, I don't know what's the cause of it. I don't know if this is egos and stuff like that. I don't know if maybe he's upset about something else. Obviously, you hear about the report with him and CM Punk getting into a backstage fight, and it's not a good look, right? It's not a good look. And if you are a heel character, yeah, I guess all of this information makes you a better heel in terms of character work, but I think you have to actually be really strong with character work in this type of character, and I'm not sure if Jack Perry is actually that good for a role like this. And it's not very often that I talk about people's personal skills and stuff in this industry, but when I look at Jack Perry, I think it comes down to utilization and being poorly underutilized, right? And I think being utilized as Jungle Boy has a lot of long-term potential with characters and comic books and toys and plush dolls and all of these different things. Like, there is something very unique about that gimmick. This whole Jack Perry being a scapegoat, getting into a backstage fight with CM Punk, or talking shit on camera on a pay-per-view that's a stadium show. To me, that is just, it's not even calculated well, in my opinion. And, I think it just goes back to looking at where the money is. When you look at WWE, and this is unfortunate because a lot of people hate the comparisons between the two, but one of the things that is significant about WWE and how they build characters is thinking about intellectual properties. And I don't think AEW necessarily does that. So when you're trying to push this whole thing with Jack Perry and he's being a heel, and it just doesn't seem like it's actually connecting. But they had something that was connecting with fans, and that thing that was connecting with fans was never really given the push it deserved, but that was the thing that could have led to a lot of long-term potential in terms of revenue. So in my personal opinion, the way that I look at this, I think it is absolutely beautiful that pro wrestling is very strong right now, and AEW is very strong right now, and WWE is very strong right now. But I also believe that Jack Perry is still a talented individual where he could accomplish great things. But when I see this drama and when I see this negativity, and if I sit here and I have to question whether it's real or if it's a work or whatever it may be, I think the way to look at it is sometimes, even if it's a work, it's just not worth it because it doesn't look good. And I haven't seen people come to me and say, look, man, Jack Perry's killing it in this role. I don't see people saying that. So ultimately, I feel like if this was a work, I don't really think people are even enjoying it. And if it is not a work, it's a shame that it's actually real, right? So it's like, it's a lose-lose situation for all involved. And like I said, Tony Khan lost CM Punk. If Jack Perry remains with the company, I hope Tony Khan figures out a way to go back to the glory days of Jungle Boy, because there was a lot of money written all over that. And unless that happens, I don't know what to say. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, I think it's really important that AEW keeps on going regardless if Jack Perry's involved or not. And the business doesn't slow down for anybody, so keep that in mind. And right now they're doing some really good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching today's breaking news.